Well, I got a little eager there. I punched the button to bring us on before the countdown was even down. How far off was I? Let's see over here. Yep, it just finished. Okay, so I tried a different method of clicking and that actually got me on sooner. So welcome everybody. We're here with Jason Lester. And did I just blow your last name?
Yeah,
Lester.
it's a pretty common thing.
Yeah, okay. So and you are a welder by trade and pursuing a side business, trying to break into the PC support business in some fashion or another. This is our third session, so we're going to find out how are you doing. Let's see. Now I'm checking the chat here. Give me an AVD check from the chat room, and here's the watch. I have to take my watch off each time because a couple of people in the chat room, Aaron and Gary, are assistant producers, which means they have my cell phone number. They can send me a text message if there's something going on with the stream that I need to be informed about. Okay, so everybody's here, and you and I are here. A couple of people in chat. Okay, there it is. Aaron says AVD is good. Okay, so to let us know what's been going on this week, where are you at in your adventure?
Well, this past week is honestly, I haven't made any progress this week. I've had other things to address, so it wasn't able to make any progress this week.
All right.
So, yeah, unfortunately.
All right. Well, that's no sweat. I sent you an email asking if we're on for today, and you replied right away and said, yes, I'm looking forward to it, which means you're still wanting to keep putting one foot in front of the other on this.
Yeah. So, but when things throw curveballs, it will. But can't get down. I'm gonna get back to it. So, just,
All right. Well, I've got a couple other ideas to throw out at you to include in your making contacts with businesses. You've already contacted some businesses directly. You reported that last week. And you went in offering to clean up their cables and vacuum out their computers, clean off their keyboards and mice and things like that. And you didn't have any takers on that. And that's probably not too surprising because somebody comes in off the street and asks to get work around their computers correctly. That should raise some caution flags in people's minds. So even if they were interested in those kind of services, maybe they don't know you well enough for that. Now, we talked about you being able to go back and recontact those people. And here's where my additional ideas come, is to give you kind of an excuse to go back and see them again. Going back to see them again, making the same offer is a little bit weak. But if you go back and saying, okay, I've expanded some things that I can offer while I'm starting up this business, and those things are along the ideas of going in with maybe a small box of mouse pads or a cleaning chemical and a rag to just do keyboard and mice, because they don't even have to shut their computers down for that. They can just unplug it and just wipe that off, even clean their monitors. A lot of people don't even do that. And then you can add things along those lines, like just come in with a couple of surge protectors or power strips in your box, just new and packaged. Do you need any power strips? And don't be making any crazy markup on them. Just let them know that you're going to come around and kind of be an on the spot vendor of some minor supplies. As I was thinking this through, I had a number of other ideas of fairly inexpensive things that you could easily go around with. Now, I don't know, is there an office supply store in your town?
there is, but I'm not really too sure.
Okay,
I,
my point there, my point there actually is it might be quite inconvenient for them to go out to the office supply store and get some kind of minor supplies that they kind of would like to have, but it's not worth somebody going out and making a trip for. In your experience as a welder and maybe some other, if there's been other occupations you've been in, have you ever had the like the snap-on tools, or there's I can't think of the other one, but anyway, they drive these trucks around to job sites or to repair shops. I have some auto mechanics in my background, so that's where I know them from. And they would come and they would have tools easily purchasable on hand. So that's the kind of thinking there is, if there's things that you can be able to have a convenient excuse to walk into their office and offer them these minor things. Occasionally you might give something away, and you might just let them know, well, I'd like to come back again and just be available to you. And even with some kind of a business card or a flyer, if you have a need of something from the office supply store, computer related, give me a call. I'll go pick it up for you, and you just pay me what I paid for it. You're not making any money off of that, but it's just a way to continue having a connection with them. Another item that you could be offering a service is, do you have any obsolete computers around that you'd like to dispose of? And you're offering to take them to electronics recycling, and even offering to open the computer up and remove the hard drive in front of them so they know that their data is safe. Because sometimes offices, they don't want to throw their computers out because they're worried about what happens with the data that's on it. Can somebody recover that? Well, if you open the cover, remove the hard drive, and let them keep that in a box somewhere, and they accumulate hard drives, and then once they have a box accumulated, they could dispose of them using a facility that physically destroys them. Then with those computers, you could put in a storage drive, if you have indeed removed that, and then refresh the operating system on it, gain experience yourself of working with the computers, revive it essentially, and then donate it to somebody. And so then as you're going into the office, when you're offering to recycle their used computer equipment, their obsolete computer equipment, you let them know that this can still be of use to somebody. And so I'd like to take that and recycle it and revive it to make it usable for somebody. And I'll be donating it to them, and you'll be participating in that. Now that's not a survivable business model because you're not making any money off of it. But after you get a few of those under your belt, maybe you can sell those for $25, those refurbished computers, or $50, depending upon the capabilities of the computer. But mostly it's an excuse to be able to keep going back to the businesses and get to know them better, let them get to know you better, where you're gaining a relationship with them, and then they start asking you for help with their computer issues. And that's a way for you to step your foot further in the door. Now, for people who haven't been following this playlist from the beginning, probably ought to restate that your current occupation is as a welder, and you've only recently kind of got interested in computers. So you don't have a lot of amateur background experience with computers, but you found that you really enjoy computers, and you'd like to try to turn that into a career. Now, this is a path of doing it as a bootstrap type of business, in the sense that you're not putting out any significant money until you have money coming in. When you actually have some small amounts of money coming in, then you can kind of build on it and let it grow. And I'd be very cautious of anybody that's trying to get you to dump a lot of money into this before you get something rolling. Now, that is a valid way to start a business, meaning dump a whole lot of money in it and try to make it work. But that typically should be done by somebody who has background in the industry, or maybe has been working for an employer in the field, and now they're going out on their own, and they have much higher resume in the industry. Now, that's should not at all be interpreted to say that you can't do this. You absolutely can do this. And I've known a lot of people that have put one foot in front of the other and made progress into the PC business. That doesn't mean you're not going to be supporting your family within 3 to 6 months off of this business. It's a much longer picture than that. So those are some thoughts I've had since our last conversation. I'm going to take a look at chat here, see if there's any messages to catch up on. You might form your thoughts a little bit to have a reaction about that, about those ideas. Let's see. Moving up to the top here, Darren started out with asking about the heat temperature in everybody's area, and Aaron says he's got 90 degrees. Feels like air conditioning compared to California. We're in the 90s today. Guard tactic saying don't give up. Doug calls it the ghost town phase. Guard tactic is Bertland. Have you been watching Bertland's videos? Would you on Saturdays? He's also starting up a PC support business.
Yeah, I haven't recently.
Okay. All right. Then let's see, a couple highs within the chat room to each other. Guard Tactic has been sending messages on Instagram. The ones that reply back tend to have no need for my service, but I ask all to refer me. Something soon will connect. And now there's some more hellos between chat room people. Aaron, also known as Atex. Getting your face known and seen often typically will build trust and additional opportunity. Absolutely. That is so critically important. The repeat times that they see your face and having some kind of reasonable excuse to be coming back to them would be part of that. Just coming back to see them over and over without a reasonable reason or purpose is kind of awkward. Blackbot's reporting 90 degrees. Okay, so do you have any reaction to those ideas I just threw out?
Yeah, it's kind of funny how you mentioned maybe them having some PCs that they're not using anymore, because that's something that's an idea that I've had a while back that I was trying to, because a while back I was actually had the idea of getting some old PCs that nobody was using no more that I could possibly restore, and I was going to actually in turn, if I could actually get that and start donating to, once I get them up and running again, donate them to students, to like college students or the school system somehow, because with all this COVID thing going on, a lot of things are online.
Right.
And that's actually an idea that I had a while back. And I thought that was kind of cool how
that's very viable.
I never thought about going to these businesses though and seeing if they had any that they're not using. So
right.
I like that.
When oftentimes businesses will have a computer that's just sluggish and it's a few years old. Rather than trying to fix what's sluggish about it, they'll just replace it. And which means the computers that they're replacing are still very serviceable for people that are just doing, like you said, online remote school or other things online or basic Microsoft Office type stuff. If you're not doing multitasking with multiple windows open, multiple browser tabs open, programs that take up a fair amount of computer resources, and then all the clutter of background software that come with pre-manufactured computers or just get attracted to your computer over time. When you do a fresh format and fresh install of Windows on a computer, it can be a very, very good computer for somebody that has basic needs. And then donating those to people who don't have the financial means to just go buy new computers can really help you get a connection with these business people, because they're going to like that. And then as you come across computers that are on a higher capability, you might start selling those because they're more capable. So that really could be a valid way to get a business going. And if you were to throw that out to a couple businesses and get some bites from that, you might drop the whole idea of doing the wire cleanups and so on, or you might run both parallel. The thing about doing the cleaning up around people's desks is that it gets you a longer amount of time in their office and gets you kind of familiar with their computer and them a little more comfortable with you, and potentially that they start asking you about actual computer subjects for fixing their computers. So then that can be a step towards billable work for them instead of just dealing with the recycling of computers. But the recycling of computers could be a valid way to go, exclusive of all else, and dump all else. That's all on your shoulders to make those decisions. My role in helping you is to encourage you to go forth, throw out some ideas, and basically my feelings about the chat room is along the same lines. You've got a lot of people that are in the chat room here that are showing support towards you, and a couple of them wanted to reach out to you directly this last week. I had provided you some contact information for a couple of the people that offered from the chat room. Did anything come of that? Did you make any connections with them?
Yeah, I contacted Catherine and
Gary.
yeah,
Gary was the
I
other.
contacted them both, and they both replied back. And Catherine, made her recommendation. Well, they both made recommendations to me, and
Okay.
I'm Gary's email. I'm kind of still deciphering. It's,
All right. And that's
yeah,
okay. Just let ideas and thoughts roll over. All three of us, myself and Gary and Catherine, all come from very different backgrounds, have very different personal histories, and so we have different perspectives. And it's on you to make your choices. And we just are offering the thoughts and suggestions and things for you to chew over and figure out what direction you're going to do. And we're just all hoping that you do, come out with a direction and keep putting one foot in front of the other. And you might change that direction from time to time. You might start pursuing one direction and then get something that kind of pulls you off another way, and you have to be careful about making the choice of jumping out of this ship and going onto this ship, because a person could just keep doing that over and over and never get anywhere. It's the grass is greener on the other side kind of problem. But anyway, if you're open to, when you come across those types of deliberations in your mind, if you're open to talking them out through these videos, I'm sure that we can kind of give you some not only helpful feedback, but sometimes just a matter of speaking your thoughts out loud is enough for the solution to come to you. So let's take another look at the chat here. Some hellos back and forth. Hi's to YouTube family. Hi, Atex. Let's see, that's the Instagram, face known. I see that I scrolled back too far. Let's see, Guard Tactics says, thank you, I just got an idea. The accounts on Instagram that reply back, I will add them to a DM group and share content I post just with them with a nice message all related to my business. Guard Tactic, Bertlin makes a compliment. Thank you, Bertlin. Atex, I agree, Bertlin, on the compliment. Thank you both, Aaron. Aaron says, make sure to like this video. Thief Software Truth says, how about Windows 11? I'm guessing maybe you saw my Thief Software Truth, saw the video I did on Windows 11. I pretty much said my piece there. I'm not going to repeat it. And Catherine Bertlin says Catherine is a sage. So she's not with us. I haven't seen her in the chat room, but okay, so that's at 10:17. All right. Yes, that kind of. I was starting to mention as we were talking about the recycled computers, I probably have 20 of them here. Clients have replaced computers, and I just put them into my storage room, and then when I get around to it, I take them to electronics recycling. I don't try to refurbish them. It just would take too much of my time and too little purpose. But I'd love to find, I have tried before to find somebody locally that would take them and refurbish them and do something, make something useful out of them, because it's a sad thing for me to take them to the electronics recycler that disassembles all the components, and they pull all the, there's gold in the computers. They pull all the precious metals out of the computers and melt down all the components and really do a deep level recycling. But I think these computers have serviceable life as computers. Well, I don't think it would justify actually shipping these to you, because the cost of that weight, I think it's going to eat up any value. Okay, so anyway, let me stop talking for a minute. Do you have any further thoughts on your mind?
Well, I'm thinking that probably tomorrow, if not the next day, I want to revisit probably one or two of these places, and I want to ask them about the PC thing again. Well, about them having PCs, and kind of remind them that I'm still available for the cable management, and kind of I want to get a flyer printed off. I did get me a picture. So
Okay.
my brother actually found one for me and sent it to me. So I got to get it printed off. So I'll have actually a flyer now.
All right.
So I guess I
Okay.
did make progress this week. Not much, but it's progress.
Was that a picture of before and after for cable management, or a picture of
Yeah.
you, or what?
Cable management before and
Oh,
after.
awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome. That's
I
great.
just remember that actually. That he found it. So me and my brother, we go back and forth about this stuff all the time. He's like, "Hey, I got a picture I can send you."
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Well, as you're going back to these businesses, I suggest that you be kind of open with them about that you are trying to develop a business on the side in the PC support business, and here's my new offering or my new notion. What do you think about this? And try maybe even think of seeing if you kind of get them on your side, to where when you next time you show up, they're kind of interested or eager to find out, how are you doing with that, even if they haven't actually been part of or taken advantage of your services yet. Because it's a pretty common human thing among most kind people anyway, to want to see people pursue their interests or their dreams, or advance in a form that they consider to be a new venture or an advancement for them. So you can actually find that going back into their office might not seem so much of discipline or drudgery or nervousness, but rather kind of a welcoming feeling, because they're kind of pulling for you, even if they haven't done anything with you yet. So that'd be more of an encouraging type of experience for you. Let's see. Aaron says, I've received several older computers from customers, older to them, but completely useful for someone else. Absolutely. He says, I offer to securely wipe their data in exchange for the PC. And that's another piece too. Once they have trust in you, and they're going to let you take this PC that is obsolete to them, you can assure them that you're going to do a secure wipe. And if you don't yet know how to do that, just Google it. Not a big deal. We started out this conversation with me suggesting that you open the computer up, take the hard drive out, and give it to them. Will that be in the event that they don't quite trust you yet? Because somebody who wants to steal data or get data from a used hard drive, this would be a really good method for them to do it, to go offer to recycle old computers. You know, that's kind of a business model for somebody who's has evil intentions. So offering to take the hard drive out, leave it with them, kind of supports that what you really care about is refurbishing that computer and giving it more life. And maybe even your pitch might include some wording along those lines. If you have PCs that you have replaced and they're just sitting around taking up space, you're nervous about throwing them out into a recycle bin or otherwise disposing of them, I can open the cover and take the hard drive out, and we can give that PC new life and let that computer experience being useful to somebody else. And what I was trying to get to there was kind of personifying the computer, to say that the computer has would like to feel that it has some purpose in life and kind of animated in a sense. I don't know how many people would connect with that idea, but I do. Seeing a computer sitting on the floor in a closet, just wasting away. Every day that goes by, it becomes less and less capable of being useful to somebody. But right now, it could be useful to somebody else if there was just somebody who could do that. All right, so there I went blubbering off again for a few minutes.
So that does remind me of something else that I actually done one day. A guy I work with, me and him's been talking about how I've been putting my own computers together, and he's like, "Hey, I have this old desktop that I can't do nothing with. That Windows 7 on it, and the hard drive got full, and he didn't have a recovery disk for it, and I can't do nothing with it. You can have it if you want it." I'm like, "Okay, cool."
All right.
I was like, "This is actually my first experience on trying to do something with a full hard drive that you couldn't do." So I'm like, "Well, I'm gonna try and put Windows 7 on it or Windows 10 and just wipe the whole hard drive." And I was actually it took me a couple tries to kind of figure it out, but I got it and actually got Windows 10 on it. Actually reused the hard drive. Well, everything's in its original, so and installed Windows 10, wiped the hard drive, and actually ended up selling it for $50.
Awesome. Were you able to upgrade it from Windows 7 to Windows 10?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it would start up under Windows 7.
Yeah, it would start up.
Awesome.
You would able to start it up and do stuff, but you couldn't download nothing or do nothing with it.
You had enough of Windows 7 though to be able to perform the upgrade, and that gets the Windows 10 license connected to that computer's hardware. So now you could actually do a fresh install of Windows 10 or even replace the hard drive with a faster SSD hard drive, and it would still activate Windows 10 without having to buy a license. So there's a lot you could do there. Let's see. Ken Stout. Hello, Ken. Just arrived late. Welcome. Glad you're here. Okay. So those sound like some workable ideas for you to pursue. And eager to see how it works out.
Yeah, I'm hoping to be able to make some progress on it this week, and
All right.
I'm expecting some more free time, so I should be able to make at least some progress this week.
Okay. Well, there's a thing that is helpful for a person who is pursuing starting up a business, either on the side or even full time, and that has to do with drive and ambition. And for some people, that winds up being that they go into overtime workaholic mode, and that's fine for the people that works for. Some people will insist that's the only way to accomplish it. I don't buy that. I think as you work towards this goal, if you can keep in your mind the intention and the focus of putting one foot in front of the other and being further along tomorrow than you are today, being further along next week than you are today, and just keep advancing further, you probably will come across times when you just really dig in and put a lot of time and effort over a short period of time. But then with the rest of what you've got going on in your life, that doesn't last. That doesn't become an everyday type of thing, or it might if you just get that level of addiction to it. But the biggest holdback or trouble for people is when they just give up and aren't trying to make any progress. So even a small amount of progress, I mentioned being one step closer tomorrow than you are today. Well, what minor thing, what small amount of time could you do, even if you don't have time to go visit a potential customer? Maybe just spend a few minutes rewatching one of our videos, letting thoughts drift over in your head. Maybe you're just driving from one place to another and you run thoughts through your mind of what you want to do or what you can do next. And even if you're not taking action on it that day, that is one step further. It might be a tiny little step, but if you keep making steps and try to keep making steps every day, some of those steps will be bigger steps than other days. Just try to avoid stopping. Once you stop, it's really hard to get started again. So if you can just find the tiniest little step forward when you're feeling discouraged and overwhelmed, make a tiny little step forward, and then go ahead and go do something else. And then come back the next day, make another step. You decide how big that step's going to be. And some of these times when you come back to us on a Sunday, you're going to have more to report than other days. And that's okay. All right?
Yep. So, then, well, yeah.
Just let the thoughts roll over in your head. You wind up doing what you wind up doing, and that's the best you can do. And the right thing to do. Okay? So how about we go ahead and wrap this up, and tentatively we'll be on for the same time next Sunday?
Yep.
Okay, very good.
We're down, so.
All right, I'm gonna switch to the other screen here, and I'll come back to you in a moment. I'm gonna mute you for a moment here, and there we go. Another session with Jason Laster, and we'll see him again next week and see what has happened. So here's my email address if you want to reach out to me for anything. The primary thing that I want to be doing with this channel is to help people with their computer issues over live streaming through YouTube and Zoom and remote connection to their computers. So if you're new on my channel, I want to get that out there. That is the main thing that my intended purpose of this channel is. So there's my email address on the screen, DougBetts@LiveWindowsTraining.com. I hope that was useful to you. Thank you everybody in the chat room for being with us, and I'll catch you again another time. All right, goodbye.